So what I should really do now is should really like pseudocode this. I do kind of want to pseudocode it because then it'll make doing the flowchart easier. Alright, we'll just save this in my planning file folder. Yeah, I have there's a parent folder to this which is purely for this project. So this is going to be the pseudocode. So I'll just show you the folder quickly, which is just here on my desktop, and then this is, so it's got all the somewhere for all the art assets to go, which we don't have any at the moment, and there'll be the code folder, which we don't have any of that either, and the planning folder, which has quite a number of things in it at the moment. But these will all be like working documents. So pseudocoding. Like for people who don't know, pseudocode is basically like just a written step by step of what a code is going to do, and it's written in quite plain and simple English, so that if you were to say you write out the code, and then you can just then give it to someone else and then go, okay, they program this, and it should be sort of quite universal. You can sort of make it into any sort of language, which is really cool. And it has been a while since I've written a pseudocode. So right, we're going to have to build the screen size, so we're going to have to set window size, and what I quite like about this is that these are already all numbered, so we'll have to set the start. The trouble is it's really hard to write like classes and stuff, so then we'll just have to sort of import player class, import pirate class. These will probably be, they'll be quite similar classes anyway, because they're both going to base off like one parent class that's going to have a lot of like the movement functions and stuff in it, because if you make a child class and it inherits, you get a lot more of the, but I'm pretty sure it just loads quicker, which is really important. And if a lot of things using the same sort of like functions, it's a lot nicer to just sort of go and just have sort of one big parent class that just sort of goes, and then all the child classes can go, oh, that's what we're doing, and it's a lot nicer and it flows a lot better. Right, so we've imported all that stuff. See, I've never actually written pseudocode for something that's going to have multiple files before, because I know this is going to. Maybe if I just do sort of the main bulk of code, and then, yeah, because all the other stuff's going to be movement and functions and the like. Yeah. Then we'll build the level, and I've already got quite a good idea of how I'm gonna do the level using 2D vectors and the 2D vector 3. Is it a 3D vector? 2D. I've already got a good idea of how I'm going to do it. I struggle with remembering all the names and stuff. And then it'll probably have to... Will it render things next? Render all the things. Is it... I feel like there should be something in between. Yeah, that's the last thing it'll do, because this is all going to be in a big loop. So it's going to keep doing a lot of these things. Okay, this is going to be the is it initial? That looks wrong, but oops, don't want to space them. I want to. Alright, so these are the sort of things that only have to be done. Okay, I'll just change that to do once. So then, oh, will it build the level? Yeah, because this is all the sort of these are all the declarations sort of at the beginning. So it'll set the window size because that won't change. Import the player because that won't change. Import the pirates because they won't change. Build the level, but that might change. Ooh, actually I'll do that. Import level because obviously that will change. This is the game loop, and this will happen pretty much once. This will happen once a frame. Pet frame, once per frame. So this will be the final thing, and I've put it in way too early, just to remind myself that that's the last thing to be done. We'll have to check for keyboard inputs, do relevant function on key input. Complete. Yeah, this is really disjointed and probably not how this actually works in sort of the industry. But as a student who's still practicing, please don't kill me for probably forgetting quite a lot. So yeah, the last thing it'll do is render everything, and then at the end it'll just clear up, so that'll be where all the deleting things happens. I feel like it should be longer than that. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put in some classes. So I will have the player who's going to have some movement functions. Well, so the player will need a name. They'll need spawn point. So it should be 2 coordinates for X and Y. So that'll be where they spawn on. I'd say every level. Sort of keep that as like a constant. Sort of you always start like at the bottom left or something, or the bottom right if I'm feeling different. So those will be the spawn points. What else will you need? Lives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and do the player and the pirate class, and then I can sort of see how to like smush them together. So I'll see what needs to be separate for the player and separate for the pirate, because I'm not sure all the pirates will need names and lives. They'll probably only have the one. Right, so player's going to need lives, a score. And I've given up on putting full stops at the end of everything now. And then I'll need movement functions. So that's left, right, climb, jump. Double check that I've not missed anything. I think I'm probably going to leave that class at that and not do I'm going to need names, but they will need a spawn point. They won't need a life or a score, but they will need those movement functions. And we'll just copy that down there. Wow, this is looking a lot simpler than I expected it to. Which is worrying, because that makes me feel like I've forgotten stuff. So basically where I'll smush them together is they'll have spawn points and movement functions that will be identical. I suppose, and the level. It'll need height, width. Probably also need to do the block wall, sort of like because of the way I'm going to declare it and use it, because I'll be using I'm pretty sure it's a 3D vector. Because of the way I'll show it, which I will show you, and this will make a lot more sense later on in this. So if you please bear with me. Because of the way I'm going to declare it, I'll need block size. So that'll basically be, so I'll know how thick the walls are and that sort of thing. So we'll also need that vector to hold all the, because it holds all the information like what's a wall and what's open space and what's a ladder, what's a platform you can go through, like that sort of thing. And that's because basically then I can sort of, if I sort of show you now, so it would be, so like so this is the top. So if you assume that, I really wish I'd counted. Okay, I'm going to do it 5 by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then oops. So basically that's what the map will be displayed, well that's what the code will see, and then it will display whatever texture I've got for the walls. So then if there was a ladder in them, why does it suddenly not line up properly? Okay, so if there was a ladder that say went up there, see it lines up properly at the, oh, I see. So say there's a ladder that goes up there, and these are all, so that's what the code will see and then display. I'm pointing at the screen and you can't actually see, I'll use the mouse. So these will all be, if I decided walls meant W, which logically yes, L's are ladders, and then the dots are open space. I could just use spaces, but this sort of fills up better. So then these will all be declared whatever I decide this to be, and this will be measured in pixels. So that will tell me how many of those, and it will probably just be however the dimensions of the screen that I decide on. It will just be a division of that by however many of the W's and stuff I want to fit in. So if I've got really small textures, these are going to be really small bits, and so it will declare all these as W's as walls, and then all these, the 2 L's there will be ladders, and then these will just be open space. So this level would be really, really boring, because you could just go up the ladder and that would be it. But that's basically why I've got to do the block size. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'll need. And then there are functions that I will need for that. So I'll need to be able to, I think I'll need to be able to retrieve the height. I'll call it return height. Return width, because I'll need those values, I think, to do all the collision, etc. So those are, this is a really basic, badly done pseudocode, because these are entirely separate, but does mean we can do the flowchart now.